2015 total solar eclipse. This is an absolutely incredible event. It's an event not to miss. I know my friends in the American time zones, you're staying up really late to watch this. We are so grateful that you're getting maybe a little sleepy on a weekday, but trust me, this is an event that's going to be worth it. And we have this incredible feed. We've just witnessed first contact only a few minutes back, and now the moon is encroaching onto the sun. And I'm going to put down another countdown clock. We've had a couple countdown clocks this evening, but this one is a particularly fun one. Have any idea as to what this one might be about, Paul? Oh, Paul's talking with someone else. This is actually a vision of when totality will occur. This is when we are going to have the total solar eclipse. This is happening in less than an hour. This is happening in just 50 minutes when we're going to see this incredible vision of this moon crossing in front of this sun. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and it's absolutely going to be incredible. But we also can't forget about our live feed coming in from the Faroe Islands. I wanted to get an update from you, Paul, on how things are going. How is the situation over there?
Well, we're seeing some nice sun rays coming down onto the sea, but the sun itself is obscured. But looking behind me, which is where the winds are blowing from, there are some blue patches. So we've still got plenty of time. We've got at least 20 minutes, I think, until totality here in the Faroe Islands. Totality in Svalbard is going to be a little bit later than that. As you say, the countdown clock's there. So yes, it's a little bit cloudy here, I'm afraid.
I see a wall of white. Is the sun somewhere there? Has it just disappeared? Has the sun just completely disappeared from the Faroe Island? Has it ran away? Has it given up?
Absolutely. I can guarantee you the sun is in this image. It's just hidden behind the grey cloud which is hovering over the horizon.
So we have an interesting dichotomy tonight, is that we have one feed where we can play a bit of hide and seek. We can try and spot the sun, see the little peaks, the rays of light that are coming through. This is our challenge. This is our adventure. This is where we're going. And then we have this feed that is absolutely being spoon-fed to us by NHK News. It's going to be a great, great adventure to see just all the phases of the total solar eclipse in such pristine clarity. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous roller coaster to watch. And so we have the high stress, high stakes, and we have just the beauty in your face. I think it's great that we have both of these just to really take advantage of. And yeah, here's the other one coming up right here. It's absolutely beautiful.
An even larger chunk of the moon taken out, of the sun taken out. Wow, this is looking absolutely great from Svalbard.
So, it really,
but this
really is.
This is the advantage. I mean, we pull in feeds from around the world, you know, because look, there are two places, Eric, in the world who can see this eclipse, the Faroe Islands and Svalbard. And we've managed to get feeds from both of them, and which gives us a little bit of weather redundancy for the cloud. So this is really looking good for us from Svalbard.
It is, absolutely. And here, I'm just getting a tweet coming in from Crystal, who's talking about it's 2:20 a.m. where she is, and she should be sleeping. But no, you should not be sleeping, Crystal. We are so grateful to you for staying up, for being awake with us. And it's really if this is the night to lose sleep over, yes, this is the one time a year that this is okay. Yep. We're giving you a permission right here on Slooh to stay up a little late and to enjoy your time here with us. Because this is an adventure. This is a roller coaster. And please, yes, do send us your questions via Twitter, and we're going to be happy to answer them on the air. And also, I wanted to bring to your attention a very special thing that our social media team is doing for you guys, which is that they have actually baked some cookies, some special solar eclipse cookies, which we have nicknamed Eclipses. And those cookies are going to be tweeted out at each respective phase of the eclipse. And so when an eclipse is just starting, we'll get the eclipse is just starting cookie. We'll get the totality cookie. We'll get all the cookies. And so if you like cookies and you like eclipses, think about watching our tweets on Slooh, because that's going to be a fun roller coaster ride. And we also have a special eclipse cake on Facebook. So there's all the pastries, all the foods, all the desserts, and there's another little activity for people to enjoy if you like social media and you like sweets. So there's that. And at the end of that whole... Oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking, Eric, Crystal is staying up. She's probably going to get up late for work or for school or for college or wherever it is. Look, if anybody asks, just said, Slooh told you that you could be late for work this morning because you were watching one of the most amazing astronomical phenomena known to man. Men and women have been watching this down the ages in amazement. And Eric, the flights here, were packed with pilgrims almost, eclipse junkies. That's what they're like. Once you've seen one total solar eclipse, you can't give them up. You've just got to keep going back for more and more.
It's really it's so amazing. And something that I like to think about when it comes to eclipses is just how lucky we are in terms of comprehending them, because we're seeing this
Yes.
thing cross in front of the sun in the night sky. But thousands and thousands of years back, when we didn't have a conception of what eclipses were, of what orbits were, and all those different things, it was really an absolute it must have been a crazy experience for all of a sudden the sky to just turn completely dark in the middle of the day. It's really and we understand what it is now, but at the same time, it still holds that same unnerving feeling to it. It's just, this is a really an absolutely majestic experience, is what I like to think.
It is, and I live very close to Stonehenge, Eric, and whenever I see even a partial eclipse, I always imagine back then what those people were witnessing, and trying to comprehend it, as you say, must have been virtually impossible. It's when you witness these things firsthand, it's almost a spiritual experience. So no wonder they they made sacrifices to their gods even to bring the sun back. So,
Right, because
wow, this image from Svalbard is looking fabulous.
it is. It's so good. And I mean, one thing that I like to think of with total solar eclipses is this period of transition, and that all of a sudden, we have this absolute darkness, this absolute break in the paradigm of day and night, and then we get this incredible return to normalcy. But while we've returned to it, at the same time, it's an experience that is so it affects someone so fundamentally. It really changes them. People that have seen a solar eclipse in person, it's a memory that really sticks with them. It's something you can talk about years later, that they will recall with passion and visceral emotion. We were just talking to Matt Francis, and just hearing him speak about his experience of watching an eclipse, it's just it makes me jealous, frankly. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this eclipse from Svalbard happen live. It's really going to be a gorgeous experience.
It is. Now, we are witnessing here, Eric, a very definite change in the lighting. We are still overcast, but I'm looking out over the sea. In fact, our images should be showing those. And the sun's rays are kind of hitting the sea, but there's something very peculiar about the lighting. It's almost mottled, It's and that has only just been over the last few minutes as we get close to totality here in the Faroe Islands.
Yeah, we are so close to totality there, and it will be interesting to see if the sun is willing to peek out of the clouds, if we're able to see that one incredible spot. This is a war. This is a war with the weather, and I wouldn't venture to say if there were winners or losers, but maybe I should. But I hope that we're on the winning side. That's all I'm going to say about that. and so,
we have got more than one opportunity here, haven't we, Eric? And this is the marvelous thing, that we've got these feeds coming in from not around the world, but certainly in the areas where totality is visible and where partial phases are as well, including that lovely feed that we had from Austria.
And this, I think, is a great opportunity to just exemplify sort of how this all works in terms of how the shadow falls. We have this great visualization here from NASA that is absolutely gorgeous, and it shows what happens when the shadow of this eclipse falls on the Earth. And you can see how how subtle it is. So here's what we see in Europe. This is the shadow that shows the partial eclipse in lots of different places. And then there's that dark shadow right there. That is totality. And we see it brush through right there, brush through the ocean, the North Atlantic right there. And that's what we're seeing in Svalbard. It's what we'd like to see in the Faroe Islands. And it's what we'd like to bring to you. And we also had partners in Austria as well. And so those are parts of Europe that are seeing the partial eclipse. And so there's this whole incredible interplay of geometry that's just, it's really a lot of fun to see. I keep just wanting to go back and forth with this button here to see how the shadow falls. It's quite a beautiful thing.
Eric, as we're closing in on totality here in the Faroe Islands, it might be worthwhile switching to our live images because I've just set the camera up so that you can actually see this very strange lighting across the ocean. It's most peculiar, most peculiar.
It's really going to be fascinating to see if we can get these totality images from the Faroe Islands, because I believe we are just about there. We are less than 10 minutes away from totality. Oh, that is quite a clearing. We're seeing some scenery there, aren't we, Paul?
Well, it is this very bizarre. I mean, there's a rain cloud there, but the actual sunlit part of the sea where we're looking, it's the most peculiar thing. It's light, but it's not lit. Like so many things when we were talking to Matt, you know, it defies explanation or description. It's the most eerie kind of feeling.
It really, it's like, I'm very interested to see if we're going to see it pop out here. But it's so dynamic. This is one thing I'm really enjoying about the Faroe Islands feed, is that there's so much that's happening here, and I really hope that luck is on our side with this one. Speaking of luck, we had an incredible show that we did a couple days back on St. Patrick's Day about the aurora. As Paul was going on his eclipse expedition, one stop he made was in Iceland, and we saw an incredible aurora show there. That was absolutely beautiful, and members can see that in the clubhouse. It's a lot of fun to see if you want to review that show. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Slooh painted the sky green for St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you know, the service that we provide, really, you know, it's above and beyond.
We're very, very kind. We don't want anybody in the world to get pinched. That's why we wanted to make sure the whole world was absolutely covered. As we're talking here, I'm just looking through some of the tweets that we're getting in the Slooh Eclipse tag, and I'm hearing about people that are watching live from their school. I mean, thank you so much for joining us here. We hope to provide you a entertaining, educational, and completely mind-blowing visual experience. As we're looking at multiple feeds, we have this feed of the Faroe Islands, where we're hoping we're going to see totality very soon. We have a feed in Svalbard where totality is going to be happening a little bit after that, about half an hour after that. And so that speaks towards the geometry of this whole thing, of when we can see that live, incredible view. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And what do you think are our chances here at this point, Paul?
I think it's probably 0 for seeing the actual sun come through, but what we are seeing is, in these live images, just how the whole environment is changing. You know, the birds outside are probably starting to roost, right? As this, it's not like dusk. It really defies description, but it's obviously getting darker as more and more of the sun is covered by the moon, even beyond the clouds. But now those rays they're still kind of illuminating on the horizon, but you can see that it's a faint torch kind of light. It's very peculiar, very peculiar.
It is really amazing. And just as a juxtaposition between this feed and our other feed, I'm bringing up the Svalbard feed, which is really making a lot of progress here. Let's see.
Yeah,
that sun good. It's really been cut out of.
Yeah. So, Eric, you know, you explained that the path of totality changes, and that's why in Svalbard they're not seeing the total eclipse at the same time as we are further west from the Faroe Islands. So this is giving us this kind of double chance. And you know, my ambition is in the United States for an upcoming total eclipse there in a couple of years' time, I want to follow totality across the country and broadcast that live on Slooh. That would be really cool. But this is
Oh,
a
that would be
fabulous image
incredible.
that we've got, isn't it?
And you hear of people that take plane rides during the eclipses, and they
Yeah,
chase totality. It's so much fun. That
yeah.
by train, by ship, by any sort of locomotive. Let's go out into space and see it as well. And that sort of brings to mind for me that really we do see eclipses from outer space, and that's an incredible thing to see as well, because it really brings to mind how delicate our whole environment here is. I could just bring up one example from stereo that saw the total solar eclipse a little while back here. This is an absolutely gorgeous view. So this is the moon crossing in front of the sun, and it looks so small, doesn't it? And even though the stereo is relatively at the same distance from the sun that the Earth is, it's trailing behind the Earth so much that the moon looks about 4 times smaller, and that makes just such a significant difference. And so the Earth is in just such a delicate position in terms of the Earth, Moon, Sun system to be able to see a moon that's just as big as the sun at very precise times. But that's not always the case, though, is it? There are certain times when we don't see a total solar eclipse, even though the moon passes directly in the center of the sun. Aren't there times like that?
Eric, I'm very sorry. Just give me one second. I just need to do something here. So,
Well,
sorry.
that's totally fine, because I gave you a question I can answer myself, so I can just go ahead and talk
Okay.
with have an interview with myself, as it will. And so that's an eclipse that we were talking about a little earlier, like Phobos saw or Phobos caused on Mars. This is an annular eclipse where you see an annulus being like a donut, a circle with the hole cut out of it, the center hole cut out of it, and it's so. There are times like that when you see when the moon is in the same location. It's right in the center of the sun,
Eric,
but you
I'm
see
sorry
this
to
circle
interrupt,
around
but
it.
we should go back to our live images again.
Oh,
We've
are we
got
getting something exciting coming up here? Let's
we've
bring
got
that up.
some peculiar rays of sun hitting the sea now. It's
Huh.
really you'll see it coming up on there. It's about to come up for you.
Ooh, wow.
It's like a different color. If it's the next live image coming through to you, so take a look at this.
But yeah,
Camera
we're seeing
shutters
this
all around me are
fantastic
going off.
illumination on sort of the left side of the body of water there. It's really looking quite beautiful.
It's
Um,
we need to see the next image. I wish I could share this with you immediately. That's going to be coming through to you any second now. The whole sky has turned this beautiful silvery grey color. It's just totally unlike any kind of dawn or dusk or any other kind of environment that you've been in. It is so alien, and now it's really getting very dark.
and this is getting so close to totality. Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's so
and
eerie. That's so fantastic.
it is. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, and the sun has just popped out. I need
I'm
to
hearing
just
exclamations
adjust a
behind
few
you. Is
things.
everybody getting excited? Is this the time here? What's going on here, Paul?
I need to just be concentrating on getting an image, Eric. We
Oh,
just
sure.
had this tiny glimpse of the sun so close to totality. It's just popped out
Oh,
between the
yeah.
clouds, but now it's gone back in again. So
This is the race. This is the time right now. This is when we're venturing towards totality, which
wow,
is happening in only 2 minutes. It's coming. It's
now
so close. And so
suddenly,
this
Eric,
is the
it has
time that we're
now
going to race. This is the time that we're going to see if we can get this image. And even if we don't get an image of the sun itself, what it will do to this atmosphere, to this surrounding environment, is going to be so incredibly fascinating. We see already these just eerie patches on the sea, and just the glow and the atmosphere and the environment, that it really speaks to how we see a total solar eclipse, and there's things that are happening in the night sky. There's things that are happening above us, but they're affecting so much what is around us, and what just
Eric, look
yeah.
behind me. I'm in darkness.
Wow.
I mean, this room was illuminated 2 minutes ago. We are in absolute total darkness, but the sun is still behind the clouds. So we caught this one tiny, tiny glimpse, but it is now, it's like nighttime. It's totally dark here.
So that is it, everybody. From the Faroe Islands, Paul Cox is now experiencing totality. We are experiencing totality in a distant way, in a way that we can't exactly precisely see the sun, but don't you worry. We have a feed as well coming in from Svalbard. We'll be experiencing totality from that site soon after that, and that site is clear. But right now we are experiencing this thing, and it's the whole atmosphere is going dim for you. What is going on over there, Paul? What is this experience?
Well, I mean, it's just so quickly, Eric. Sorry, I'm standing up so you can't really see me, but you don't need to. It's more about the description. It was like about 10 seconds. It was like somebody switching off a dimmer switch, and it went from being quite illuminated to nothing. And of course, we've got 2 minutes of totality. So totality is now. So we've got 2 minutes of this, but I can still see over on the horizon, there's a lit horizon, and that's because that's not experiencing totality yet. The shadow of the moon hasn't got that far yet.
Wow, this is, I mean, while we're seeing this so removed, we don't actually see the sun here. Experiencing this through your eyes, Paul, I mean, just to be on the ground there, it's got to be incredible. Is everybody more quiet, or are they talking?
Wow.
What is the mood here?
Sorry, now it's just gone up. It's just switched back on again in exactly the same way that it switched off, and suddenly we've gone back to this silvery light coming out. I mean, if you believe in heaven, then the clouds that I'm seeing at the moment are it. I mean, they're just beautiful silvery color. We've got images coming through to you for this, and now the sun's rays have once again appeared on the horizon. So that was totality. I'm afraid from the Faroe Islands, we didn't actually see the sun, but we saw the amazing visual effect of what's going on around us here. Amazing.
Oh, wow. That's just, it's so exciting to see. And well, so one thing about this is that it's such an emotional experience. And have you experienced totality before in person, Paul?
Only for 2 seconds in Kenya for the Africa eclipse that we covered there. And we have actually got a clear spot coming up here. So we need to keep our eyes open here. But of course, we haven't yet seen the end of totality because we've got this great feed coming in from Svalbard, and they've got clear weather, haven't they, Eric? So we're going to see totality there. When?
Yeah.
How long have viewers got to wait?
Well, so I'm just actually bringing up that, you read my mind. I'm bringing up that countdown clock right here. It's 26 minutes and 53 seconds away from totality, and we see that progression, that it's just about halfway done with in terms of encroaching onto the totality. It started, and it had about an hour that we have to wait between first contact, when it first connects with the side of the sun, and totality. And so it's coming up so very soon, and it's beautiful to see this progression of just the moon just eating and eating and eating at the sun, and it's getting there so close. It's just about there. We're really looking forward to it. And having experienced totality now for yourself, Paul, today, how do you think it's going to go, or what more can we expect from Svalbard?
Well, we're going to be seeing the corona. We're going to be seeing prominences coming at totality from Svalbard. So we're going to take my description that I just gave there, that my audio description of what happened here, we're going to see that and exactly what happens to the sun when it's totally covered by the moon. We are about to see the sun here, Eric. We're about to get a little bit of a clear window. So I'm going to just concentrate on getting us some pictures from here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so this is the battle, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fight that what's happened here is that Paul Cox has been with this expedition team on this expedition to this distant exotic island, and he's flown on multiple planes and faced multiple weather issues and set up all this equipment, and all that the result ends up with this fight, this magnificent battle against the weather. And it's all you can do to roll with the punches and to see what you can absorb, what you can see in terms of totality, what you can't see. I've been on an eclipse expedition before. It wasn't a total eclipse expedition, but it was one where I could see an annular eclipse. It was one where I got to see the donut, essentially. And that was an eclipse where I was able to come along with Dr. Jay Paskoff's Williams College Eclipse Expedition. And it was an incredible sight to see in New Mexico. And there was just a layer of clouds that was right where the eclipse was happening. And it was quite a hard thing to see, because we were all fighting with our cameras to try and see if we could get images of this eclipse as it was happening. And right during totality, that was when the sun hit the cloud bank, and it was just covered in clouds. But that was the time that we had to fight the hardest, and there were groups of people that were just fighting with their cameras and trying to make sure the focus was appropriate. And there were some people that, even though it was covered in clouds, they could see this sliver of the sun and the moon, this annulus, through those clouds. And it was beautiful pictures that they had received through their blood, sweat, and tears. And this is what Paul is going through right now. This is what he is fighting for. This is what he is looking towards. There are so many opportunities right now as this sun is going through the features of an eclipse. He has ample opportunity now to get some incredible shots in, and we're looking forward to seeing what may come out of there, as well as what is going to come out of Svalbard as well. We have this beautiful, beautiful, clear image. It's really absolutely gorgeous to see. I'm going to get our faces out of there again, because what we're starting to see right now is a sun that almost looks like a crescent moon. It's getting into that phase where you just see the Cheshire Cat smile, this bright glimmer as it's being slowly swallowed by this moon as it moves in front of us in the night sky. But there is so much to talk about, so much to see. Very soon right now, we're actually going to be bringing on a very special guest, a film director, Dr. Duncan Kopp. He's going to be coming in with us right after this break to talk to us a little bit more about eclipses and eclipse expeditions and what he's experienced. And as somebody who has a lot of experience in terms of looking at the moon through the camera lens, like what are good ways to visualize this? What are good ways to look at that? And so as this story unfolds, I would ask you again, if you love these sorts of stories, consider joining Slooh. We're here at slooh.com, and you can see more content like this just for a trial offer of 30 days for